Everything is showing. Hello, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Tonight's live is sponsored by Rooted in Essential Oils. Rooted in Essential Oils. Rooted in Essential Oils is the sponsor of tonight's live. His link is in the chat, folks. His link is in the chat. Go and check him out. Go and check him out. Plant-based living, plant-based items for healthy living, a healthy home, good for the environment, all of that good stuff. Go check out Famous, that is his name, over there in Rooted in Essential Oils. He is the sponsor of tonight's live. So let's get started, folks. Let's get started. You saw the title Prejudice. It's the first part. Card chat is the second part. Card chat is the second part. They both go hand in hand for this particular live, for this particular chat. They both go hand in hand. Yes. So most of us know what prejudice is. The words tell it prejudging someone, in this particular case, based on a whole host of things. Most of the time, it's their race, maybe ethnicity, maybe country of origin, which whole host of things, age, gender, and there's many of them nowadays from what I hear, but nonetheless, prejudging someone based on those factors and other factors, etc. And you don't even know the person. You know zero about the person. Now, the way that I want to go with regards to the prejudice is, do you have prejudice against people that are driving on the roads with you? When you look over to your left or to your right and you see someone in the car that may be elderly, do you start to say things to yourself like, oh, he or she should not be driving. They are elderly. They are aged, whatever that is to you. When you look over there and you see them, and they may be looking, they may be wrinkled, etc. Lots of gray hair, which does not mean anything, and all the wrinkles doesn't mean anything either. Do you prejudge them and say they are elderly and they should not be driving? Are they doing something when they're out there driving that ticks you off? Are they driving slow in the fast lane? That is a very popular one. That is a very popular one. Driving slow in the fast lane. Or they are in the slow lane and going very, very, very slow. If the slow lane is like 30 miles per hour, 35, 40, they are going 15, 20, etc. And it is slowing up traffic. Of course, it's morning time, rush hour traffic. You need to get to your job, and here they are slowing up traffic. And in most cases, they're doing both lanes. They're in the slow lane, ticking you off, and they're in the fast lane, ticking you off. Just for GP, baby. I'm just kidding. I don't know, but you're prejudging them because they are old or appear old, etc. And you don't want them out there on the road with you because they are too old to be driving. And who are you to say that they should or should not be driving? The state has issued them a license. So here we are. Could something else be going on? That is possible. I am going to get into that also too, and some good information, tips, etc., for what, at least in this case, family and family members can do when they have a loved one that is a senior citizen, and they may have had some medical type condition that has happened or some type of injury that has happened in their life, and it may be presenting a problem with their driving and driving safely, being safe to themselves, and of course everyone else that is out here driving. We really have to make sure that everyone that is on the road is should be there. They're driving safely, and they don't have medical things going on that will prevent them from driving. Yes, I get it. People have medical conditions that do not prevent them from driving, but the ones that do have medical conditions that prevent them from driving, those need to be addressed more sooner than later, and that is where the family will come in and it could be a medical professional that will come in also into. Hello, Regina. How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Alonzo Hall, the All-Star Advisor. Thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the likes. I do appreciate it. So yeah, so are you prejudiced? Now, as you all know, on a previous live, I mentioned that with regards to the people in DC, when I see the DC license plates, and I was like, oh, okay. So yes, I do have some prejudice with regards to DC drivers because from way back when, like I mentioned in the live, from way back when, uh, I know that it's a big city. They have lots of public transportation, and a lot of people utilize that. So a lot of folks did not drive, and so that has carried on in my brain to now, like, oh, these people are driving, and of course they drive slow. And in my brain, because in the city, it's like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go with that type of driving. I think very few parkways or that type of thing. But nonetheless, I had prejudice with regards to that. And do people have prejudice with regards to out of state license plates where they will judge your license plate and say, oh, those people drive crazy, like the people from DC, they say, Maryland, Virginia, on, more on the northern end, et cetera, drive crazy. And the people in the South, that they are nice and hospitable and all this other stuff. But do you judge people based on that also? Into one never knows, one never knows. But yeah, I want to get into it a little bit with regards to seniors, and it could be your parents. So kind of sort of look to this as, of course, the folks that are getting older, not me, but the folks that are getting older, and you are driving, and you have to know that when you are skipping or missing a beat with regards to your driving, and also if you have had an injury recently or something or another like that, and when you started back driving after the injury was healed, became better, etc., when you got back to driving, you noticed that a little something was off with regards to the driving solely, and it probably could go back to the injury that you have. If you have some type of ongoing medical condition, etc., and over time it has gotten possibly a tad bit worse, etc., and you are noticing that it is affecting your driving, your reflexes, etc., all of your cognitive stuff that needs to be going on, the focus and concentration, maybe that is a little bit off, and that is when you would need to go and contact a professional. Hello, Juicing with Jay. How are you? How are you? Thanks for being here. Curvy Key. Hello, hello, hello. Blessings and rest well. Get better. Hello, hey Cherry. Hey, how are you? How are you? Thanks so much for being here. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Don't forget to hit the like button. So, Maryland, which is where I live, they had a resource guide, and I printed out some of the pages, and I'm going to hit some of the highlights that are on here. And like I said, look at it from the vantage point of yourself. If you have had a medical condition, or you are taking, have an ongoing medical condition, or just had an injury, or look at this with regards to your parents. If you have elderly parents that drive, both of them, or if one of them has been the sole driver in the family, when something changes, what do you need to do? Whether it's, like I said, an injury that happened, or an ongoing medical condition, or just whatever may be happening with them cognitively, etc. And most of the time, that is where people go, to the cognition of a person, etc., when they are driving. So some of the things on here that I made some notes, because I don't want to read the whole thing, but it was a good read, a good read. Of course, functional ability, medical condition can cause your driving to decrease over time, which is what I just mentioned. If you're having some type of injury or something, when you get back in the car, you may be skipping many, many, many beats, and that can be problematic. That can be problematic. And of course, we have to be honest with ourselves with what all is going on. And here on this thing, it says some warning signs of diminished capacity for driving safely. You're having accidents, confusing the gas and the brake pedal. Not good, not good. And I know you all have heard of people having accidents that way. They're confusing the things. Of course, just not focusing or concentrating. drifting in and out of the lanes. You're on the wrong side of the road. These things are very unsafe, obviously, for yourself and all the other many drivers that are on the road at whatever time it is that you are, whatever time it is that you are out there driving. Not focusing, you can't read the road signs, which goes to the vision. And I do believe most MVAs or DMVs, whatever they're called in your state, do get vision tests, I think, at a certain age. I know the initial test they give you, I guess, at whatever age, but they have ongoing vision tests. Hello, Grammys Journal. How are you? The underrated darkness. How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much, Kirby Key, once again. A great supporter, a great supporter. I really do appreciate your sharing me out to your community wall. And of course, you got your link drop and you're entered into contest number 4. Thank you so much. Everyone, please go check out Kirby Key. Her link is in the chat, folks. Her link is in the chat. And when you go over there, I want to say this first. Go to that description box, folks. Go to that description box because you're probably going to want to buy the review item that she is doing. And she does wig reviews. She's done luxury item reviews in the past, fragrances, pocketbooks, shoes, cosmetics, etc. Go and check out Kirby Key. And she's done a review of items from Starbucks, etc. Some food items. Go and check out Kirby Key. Go and check out Kirby Key. Her link is in the chat, folks. Her link is in the chat. You are welcome. And thanks so much for being here supporting each and every time you come to my live. You are sharing it out to your community wall. I appreciate it greatly. I appreciate it greatly. So those are some of the signs if you have a diminished capacity for driving. Now, it could be you or it could be your spouse. And of course, our aging parents. We have to make sure that we're kind of sort of keeping in contact with them, etc. and if they live a distance away, that can be hard. And if you have other family members that live near them, you can ask that they go and check in on them, something or another like that, just like a general wellness check. If you want to have them say, hey, get in the car with them and see how their driving is for you. It's just so much when you are a child of a parent and you live far away and you know that they're aging and they may have had medical issues before and ongoing medical issues, it can get hard and problematic, especially when they are still driving, because it seems like it's going to be the next something that hits the fan with regards to them. And if they are finding that they're having to give up stuff, outside of the driving, they're finding that problematic. But once like that is like a big ticket thing with an older person's independence, the driving, and it can be hard when they are missing a beat, skipping a beat. But we have to think about the broader picture, of course. And of course, it goes on in here to say that there are self-assessment that people can do themselves. And of course, they would need to be able to get the information. Someone would have to give them the information unless they're tech savvy and they go online and find the information and actually do the self-assessment test. Now we know that most of these men may not want to do that, pride, ego, etc. And they may not want to, admit to themselves that, hey, I am missing a beat when I am out here driving. But someone has to, jump in and say, hey, this is problematic, etc. And of course, if it's something that you are finding out that is happening and there is no medical condition attached to it, then it's going to be even harder because nothing has happened with them. But definitely go and see a medical professional to make sure that you get all the box checked, etc., with regards to your parent driving or even yourself or your spouse. Yes. And of course, it says to discuss with family and friends. And it gives a list of all the free self-assessment guides, places you can go. And one of the sites is www.seniordriving.aaa.com. That's one of the sites that you can go to. And like I mentioned before, if you don't live near your parents and you have some other family members that live near your parents, and you know already that the last time you rode with your parents or one of your siblings rode with your parents that they were missing a beat, then you can ask a friend or family member to go over and say, your parent to take them somewhere and see how their driving is, etc., something or another like that, just to get them in the car to see what all is going on. But then, we definitely have to make sure that they get to a medical professional to see what all is going on. And what else does it have on here? I didn't know that that occupational therapists could get additional training to where they can do an assessment of a person's driving after a medical condition, ongoing medical condition, or some other type of injury that may have happened. So it says here, these professionals are usually occupational therapists with additional training as a driver rehabilitation specialist, someone who can evaluate a driver's ability and give objective and medical based information, as well as discuss options to keep you mobile in the community. So that was interesting. And that was interesting. So, and of course, with all of this, we have to keep in mind about the insurance. If we're going to occupational therapists for whatever reason, we want to make sure that it is something that is covered by insurance. If it is not, then prepare to come out of pocket for said expense. Obviously, I don't know what it's going to be, but I want to make sure that the roadways, the highways, the interstates are a safe place for everyone to travel, transfers, and all that good stuff. So the medical insurance covering, the occupational therapy sessions, of course, is going to be key. It's going to be key. So that was on that little thing. And of course, it lists a whole host of places here in Maryland that offers that type of thing. And of course, when you or your spouse, or if it's your parent or parents go to the doctor, have someone go there with them that can take notes. And if it's you, that is a great thing. If it's you, the child, that is a great thing. So you can hear and make notes and come up with a game plan with what to do after you leave the doctor's office. And whatever recommendations to give, please make sure that you follow them. And of course, follow up with your insurance. And if they don't provide, then you're just going to have to come out of pocket for it. And of course, having the conversation just with your parent about, hey, mom, hey, dad, you already know what's going on. So some things may change, and it may change slowly over time, or it may be abruptly. Having that conversation, more sooner than later is going to be helpful to you, and probably helpful to your parent if they are logical or what have you. They know that this is happening, and they give up the ghost and say, yes, I have been missing a beat. The doctor is validating all of the things that I have been doing, haven't been doing, etc. And I'm willing to move on. Hope, and slowly, if possible. If they just have to stop abruptly, then it is what it is. We want everyone to be safe. We want everyone to be safe here. But yeah, definitely talking to your doctor. And if your doctor knows of something, like if your parent has had some type of illness or medical condition, and they know that down the road it could lead to the possible impairment of their driving, etc., then that is something that they need to tell the person then and there. Hey, possibly in 6 months or a year, this has been the norm where people start to miss a beat in their driving. They need to let the person know that up front. And whether your parent relays this information to you, probably not, because pride and ego, and they don't want to give up this one last thing in their mind of their independence so readily, so quickly. But yeah, that was the one thing. And also, hello, Rooted in Essential Oils. As you all know, this live is sponsored by Rooted in Essential Oils. Rooted in Essential Oils. Thank you so much. Thank you so much you're the winner. You were the winner. You were the winner. What am I talking about? You were the winner of contest number 3, Rooted in Essential Oil. His link is in the chat. Folks, go and check him out. Go and check him out. Rooted in Essential Oils was the winner of contest number 3, and he is the sponsor of this live. Thank you so much. Hello, Lisa Stocks. How are you? How are you? Check out Curvy Key. Check out Curvy Key. Her link is in the chat, folks. Her link is in the chat. As always, the description box for Curvy Key and Rooted in Essential Oils. Check out that description box. Budgeting channel here. Save some coins. If you see something over there that you like, great way to save a few dollars, folks. Great way to save a few dollars. Yes. And also, and I'm sure most states have this silver alert. Talking about gray haired people, they need to stop. How did they come up with this stuff? Silver alert. Sadly, these things happen. And most of the time, like I mentioned before, um, a lot of them have been where it's a cognition, maybe dementia, etc., issue that the person is having, and the family member, can't find them. They've been missing for a few hours. It's out of the norm for that particular family member to be gone or absent for a long period of time. And here we are with a silver alert. And I'm gonna read what it says. And this is from Maryland. Your state may have and or do something differently. So with regards to issuing a silver alert, the missing person is at least 60 years of age and suffers a cognitive impairment, including a diagnosis of dementia, and that the person is traveling in a vehicle and there is enough descriptive information about them and their vehicle to issue an alert. So we definitely have to make sure that if it is our parents, that we have all the information about their car so that we can call and check them out, whether we live in states away or not, because most of the time it's possible that the family member that lives near your parent will call you and say, hey, something or another is going on with your dad or something. The car is not at the house. Normally they're there every day at this time, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what to do, and they won't even think to do an a silver alert, because they may not know all the information about your parent. So please make sure that you have all the information about your parents if they are still driving in case something happens. Of course, the license plate number, all of that good stuff, their full names, what they look like, etc., all of that good stuff. Please make sure that you have that. That will help them actually issue a silver alert, because I just read for what Maryland says they will how they will issue a silver alert. And then of course, once an alert is issued, the information is sent out across the state, law enforcement agencies, media outlets, and 911 centers. And of course, they have the road signs. It says through the use of dynamic message signs along the Maryland roadways. And I think most states have those. I think most states have those. So yeah, when it gets, yeah, like I said, they always mention it, cognitive impairment with regards to these folks, with regards to the seniors and the silver alert. Hello, Jabba Bruce Love. How are you? How are you? Hello, Vanessa, Saving with Fane Nani. How are you? Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for the likes. Thanks so much for the likes. Talking about prejudice and, of course, car chat with either yourself, your spouse, and your parents when they start to get a little age on them, when they become seniors and they're driving, and then they start missing and skipping a beat, etc. Talking about that tonight. Talking about that tonight. So it gives a list of some ways or things that people can do, day in, day out, to improve their driving. And here are some of them. In a nutshell, it is exercise your body and your brain daily. That's what all of these things actually mean. Maintain strength and endurance routine, strength and stretching, endurance, balance development. Know your medications and how they affect your driving. And of course, when you're at your doctor, and I know you have a senior parent, and it's possible that they may be taking many medications, etc. And when the doctor is telling them all the things and the side effects, etc., they're in the office. And of course, when they go to pick up the prescription, it will say the side effects, etc., and what all to do and not to do. And sometimes it becomes won't, 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 because they are on maybe many medications already, but they need to know. And if you are the child and you're involved in the care or distance care, long distance care, then you need to know the information. Staying sharp and alert practice. Exercise your senses using numbers, developing strategies to gain civic. Yes, and of course, doing word puzzles, seek and find, all that good stuff. There are lots and tons of apps where people can exercise their brain, maybe learning a new language. All of that good stuff is going to be helpful to keep the mind alert, etc. So it's just basically exercising your body and your brain regularly. Eye checks annually, get enough sleep and rest, and visit your doctor regularly, things that people should be doing all the time. So yeah, it says transitioning from driving, and of course this can be hard because slowly you're taking away that one last thing, one last independent thing that they have, and they are trying to hold on to it as much and as best as possible. Of course, that is not safe for them and all the folks, all the citizens in that particular state, and if they're driving across states, etc. Not good for the people that are out here on the roads if they are impaired in their driving in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And it can be hard, but you have to have the talk with your parents or your loved one, husband or wife, etc. That hey, we can't do this, we can't do this. You're missing a beat, and we're going to have to make different arrangements with regards to the driving. These conversations can be hard, and it may feel as though you're coming off, especially if you are the child, to your parent, as though you're the parent, chastising or coming and say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. Of course, we're going to do it all with love and care and dignity towards our own parents. And that can be kind of hard when you have a whole lot of things going on yourself, but we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. You got a whole family over here, a whole husband over here, some another, and you're dealing with all of that. And now it seems as though you're having to parent your own parent in this particular instance, and maybe others, and it can be it can be interesting. It can be interesting. And it says here, developing a transportation plan. Of course, this is if they are going to slowly or all of a sudden not be able to drive. You can employ family members that live close to them or yourself if you are there to take turns, switch off driving, etc. Get a plan with regards to what all it is that your parents are doing, where they need to go, etc. And it gives a list here of this was a good chart that they had in here. I think it is very good. And this is what it says for your parents developing this plan. Of course, you can do public transportation if that is an option. And of course, develop and you yourself, if you know this is happening and you want to take the self-assessment guide and just develop a plan for your own self, for your own driving. That is great. That is great. But it says, where do I want to go? And it lists places: grocery store, place of worship, doctor's office, shopping, entertainment, visit family and friends, other. And these are the categories. I'm just going to read the categories. How many miles from my home to these places? How often do I want to go to these places? Can I take a bus? Yes or no, to these places? Can I ride with my family or friends? Yes or no? Can I walk there? Yes or no? Are there other services to get there? Yes or no? A very good chart, a very good chart. A nice place to start, a nice place to start in developing a transportation plan for your husband, wife, or your parents. And alternative, like public transportation, that will be case by case depending on where you live, Aging in place, yes. When like I said, you're taking away the one independent thing that they have. So if you take away their driving, what's going to be next? Now they can't live in pop. They may think this. Now they can't live in their home where they've been living forever. They are comfortable living there because they have to be able to get around to their doctor's appointments, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're not there to do it, if family and friends aren't there to do it, they're not familiar with the public transportation, too old to learn it because they've been driving all their lives. They don't want to learn something new. What do we do? Will it be taxis, Uber, Lyfts? Do you think that they are going to trust those particular things? Who knows? I doubt it. So, yeah, you as the child are going to have to come up with something to assist your parents. And I get it. You could always have their food delivered, etc. And I don't know whether doctors make house calls now or not, but they're going to have to go to the doctor, etc. And of course, you can always look into your state, city, etc., social service programs that will come and pick up seniors and transport them to their doctor's appointments, etc. And I think they make it may be the case where they just come and pick you up and you don't have to have some type of, disability or something. Hopefully y'all understand what it is that I'm saying. I'm trying to be delicate and as sensitive here as possible. If you just can't drive anymore and you are a senior, do they offer that same type of service? Someone from a state agency or local or city agency come and pick you up, for a fee. They take you there, they wait for you, etc. Or they do the other driving and then they come back and pick you up and then they take you back home. But of course, the doctor's visits will still need to happen and other things that the person may want to do just to keep their mind active and going, like going to community centers, etc., being around other, seniors, other friends, etc., to keep them active, to keep their mind active, and to keep them active in the community, like it was before, because you don't want so many things to just all of a sudden change. That can be problematic. People can start to, draw into themselves, maybe become a little depressed, anxious, etc. And you don't want that. You don't want that. Access a ride here in New York City is what Hey Cherry Hey is saying. So I'm sure they have programs like that in all these big major cities, etc. And even some of the small towns, I am sure that they have programs. And of course, you're going to have to research and do your due diligence. And sometimes you may have to press people like, hey, 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 I really need this service for my parents. I am not there. We don't have family and friends there. I really need this service. And yeah, keep the pedal. Oh, yes. What else do they have on here? Yeah, I did that part. And they have on here transportation options for all the different counties here in Maryland. And there are a lot because I do see those buses, Regional Transfer Authority, the local, buses, etc. I see a whole host of things to where they pick up seniors and all that stuff and take them to where they need to go. And sometimes it is what it is. Your parent or parents will have to just get on board with, utilizing these particular services if they want to continue to, live a good life, etc., and maybe stay in their home, etc., because the options may get limited if they don't want to go along with the plan as is. And that is something that has to be talked about with them also, and too, with regards to this. Your driving has stopped. Now, these things may come down the pike if you don't accept the fact that you're going to have to take this bus, etc. Da 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 da. But of course, doing it with kindness, love, and care while we are talking to our thing. And here it gives for Maryland, a motor vehicle administration, the medical review process. It tells what all happens during the medical review process for Maryland here. And yeah, what does it say? Of course, the case is going to be reviewed by a nurse case manager. I guess that works for the MVA, is going to look over the case, all of this other good stuff. A nurse case manager reviews pertinent medical information from the individual's personal physician or other treatment providers, since those clinicians are most familiar with the individual. Yes. The driver may be asked for additional information, such as screenings and evaluations of driver knowledge or driving skill. So they may go back to an occupational therapist and say, hey, this is going to be a part of this person's medical review with regards to whether we're going to give them a license again or not. And yeah, that can be daunting. That can be daunting. But if your state does not give you, your spouse, or your parent or parents a license, that's it. That's it. They can't continue to drive. And I am sure that some of them continue to drive because they're going to be defiant. They are going to be defiant. And we know that sometimes but in people's senior years, they get a little bit defiant because they don't want to let go. They don't want to let go, because letting go means they're getting closer to the eventuality of it all in life. And they're not going gently into that good night. They are not going gently into that good night. Okay, and here it says medical conditions to report to the MVA. And it is my hope that I don't know how the HIPAA thing works, and if a doctor just randomly say, "Hey, this person shouldn't be driving," and call in and drop dimes on people that I don't know, but I'm going to read this a little bit. Approval by the MVA's Driver Wellness and Safety Division and or the Medical Advisory Board is required if a person has any of the conditions which may affect their ability to drive. If someone has one of these medical conditions, they must notify the MVA when the condition is diagnosed or when applying for or renewing a driver's license. Wow, and it has 16 on here. Diabetes that caused a low blood sugar episode requiring assistance from another person in the last 6 months. Epilepsy, seizure, a heart condition that has caused a loss of consciousness in the past 6 months. Now, some of these things you may or may not know. If you don't live near your parents, they're probably not going to volunteer the information to you. So you may find out from a medical source, not that they're trying to drop dimes or red on your parents, but they may be concerned and they know that they're driving and they want you to do something. Stroke, a condition that causes you to have dizzy spells, fainting, or blackouts. Not good when you are driving. Sleep apnea or narcolepsy, a history of traumatic brain injury, a condition that causes weakness, shaking, or numbness in the arms, hands, legs, or feet that may affect your ability to drive, a hand, arm, foot, or leg that is absent, amputated, or has a loss of function that may affect your ability to drive, an eye problem which prevents an eye problem which prevents a corrected minimum visual acuity of 20/70 in at least one eye or binocular field of vision of at least 110 degrees. Lots of stuff with the vision, of course. Alcohol use problem, drug use problem, a mental health condition that may affect your ability to drive, schizophrenia, or dementia. Now, of course, they're hoping that people will self-report when they go to the MVA in my state to renew or get a driver's license. What does it say? Yeah, when applying for or renewing a driver's license, they want you to self-report these types of things. If you don't self-report, what happens? An episode happens out here on the streets because you have one of these conditions. And here we are. That is the way that the MVA finds out about it, and your license is gone. Now, someone may go and drop dimes on you with the MVA, and I don't know what their next step would be if someone went in there and said that and so has epilepsy or and so has seizures. I know they have a license. They should not be driving. What can I do? What are the next steps? What will the MVA do to get this person off of the road? I don't know. Hello, Bud Files. How are you? How are you? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in, everyone. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, and that was pretty much the end of the information. They had some other stuff here with regards to license requirement, but I know that when I first got my license, not that many years ago, they, of course, they did a vision test, etc. And the last thing about self-reporting when you are applying for a license or renewing a license, these types of conditions that you are having. And we know that a lot of people won't do it because they don't want to give up driving because they need it. A lot of folks just to get to their job, grocery shop, etc. A lot of people won't do it. Now, for the same reason for some seniors, and but for the seniors in particular, if it's your spouse or yourself or your parent or what have you, please make sure that you kind of sort of keep tabs on them, tap in, see how they're doing, have a family member, someone do it if you are nowhere near them, any of that type of stuff. It is critical. We want to keep the roadways safe. And at the same time, we don't want people to lose their independence either, because that can be, yeah, yeah, that's a big something just in general, and not even with regards to driving. For a lot of people that are seniors losing their independence, they don't want to do that. And like I mentioned, for some, probably for a lot, it's like, okay, the driving went away. Now, will my home go away next? And then what's going to happen if I don't have a home? I'm going to be homeless. Da 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 da. And then people start to you know, think differently. I'll just put it that way. They might start to get depressed, be anxious, have anxiety, act out, maybe act out towards others. It's just a whole thing. So in these card chats, and of course, this one is prejudice about people that are driving just for whatever reason in general, the race, how they look, of course, with regards to seniors, silver hair, wrinkles, how they're the way that they're driving, driving slow, drifting in and out of lanes, in the fast lane going slow, in the slow lane going extra slow, and doing a whole host of other things that we are seeing out here. There is it's Monday morning and rush hour traffic. They are full on retired and they're just Sunday driving. Like when you get beat, beat, beat when you get out of the way, and if they're having some cognitive issues, if they're not focusing, they're not hearing the beep, beep, beep. They're just going along, just happy, thinking about olden days, etc. Thinking about that guy, thinking about that girl, that 16-year-old from times gone by. It is just a lot. And if we are, like I said, if it's us or our spouse or if it's our parents, we have to, yeah, we just have to do all that we can. Call, ask them, how are you doing? How are things going? How's the driving? I don't know how one would bring it up, but how's your driving? And then that's going to send up the antenna for them. Like, why are you asking me about my driving? But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, folks. It's interesting. A whole lot of things come along with this driving, just even for oneself, our parents, and we have to be mindful of it. We have to be mindful of it. And these silver alerts, wow. Sometimes this is the first time that the family member or the children hear that there is an issue with their parent, with their parents' cognition or other, etc. And of course, they can go from there. They can go from there. And hopefully, when they're having these silver alerts, we are hoping for the best, that they are found safe and sound. And then, you know, the children can go and get the medical care that they need, etc. And whatever happens after that, if it's like I mentioned before, if it's a slow, someone's going to be in the car with you always when you're driving, or someone's going to be driving your car for you always to take you where it is that you need to go, that type of thing. Or if they don't want to go along with that because they want to be defiant, etc., they don't want anyone driving them anywhere, they're not going to give anyone their keys, etc., then it may be the total, you're not driving anymore because it's not safe. It's not safe for you to be driving. It's not safe for you to be driving. And then, of course, along with that, we have to think about the money part also. And too, like I mentioned, we have to make sure that things are covered by, your parents' insurance or Medicaid, Medicare, whatever it is that they are getting. And if they have private insurance, which most of them do because the Medicare doesn't cover a whole lot of stuff. But nonetheless, we have to make sure that piece is good to go also. And if it isn't, then your parent needs to come out of pocket, or maybe you need to come out of pocket with all or some of it, just so your parent can get the service, etc., that they need. If it's going to be, especially if it's going to be the slowly type thing where they're going to still drive, but someone's going to be there, yes. But if it's going to be the full on stop, they're not driving anymore, you're going to be driving them, or friends and family is going to be driving them. If you're nowhere near them, then it's a done deal. You're going to pay up the insurance costs up front if it's not covered by your insurance. If it's not covered by your parents' insurance, you're going to cover it, pay it up front once, and then of course there is no more driving. And then you're going to do the thing of selling the vehicle, or purchasing the vehicle from your parent yourself, or what have you. Then you're going to do that process, etc. But of course, do all of this with love, care, dignity. But you do have to be firm with everyone knows their parent or parents, hopefully, and you're going to know when to apply the pressure. You're going to know when to be firm and fair, but you're going to have to get your point across. it's a big safety issue. If they don't hear anything, they need to hear you constantly say, it's a safety issue, Dad. It's a safety issue, Mom. And if and in some families, when they were coming up, only the husband drove. The mom may have not ever gotten a license, may have never driven, etc. So she may be the one too that you can talk to in case Dad's being defiant. And one would think that that would be a man's natural state because he has pride, his ego, etc. And maybe Mom is the one you're going to have to really talk to because she can, she may be able to get through to Dad because she has history with Dad. Talk about that safety issue. Would you want to be in the car with Dad while he's driving someplace and something happens? He has an episode or what have you, an accident happened. You may need to talk to her and she may be able to get through to him. She may be able to get through to him. Yes, yes. Yes, and that's it for the car chat, folks. That is it for the car chat. Thank you all so much for being here. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to go check out Curvy Key. Curvy Key, her link is in the chat, folks. Her link is in the chat. Go over there and check out her wig reviews. And like I mentioned the other day, ladies, there are some wigs over there that you know that are bedroom wigs. I need to stop. I need to stop. And the other items that I mentioned before that she has reviewed in the past, shoes, luxury shoes, perfumes, luxury perfumes, luxury pocketbooks, etc. But wigs are her big thing now. She has also reviewed beads. Go and check her out and her reviews on, the different food items from the food places like Starbucks, etc. Go check out Curvy Key. Her link is in the chat, folks. Her link is in the chat. Please check out my playlist, and the AI Regina Show can drop the links to her channel while I close out. And of course, Rooted in Essential Oil, his link is in the chat. Rooted in Essential Oils, his link is in the chat, folks. His link is in the chat. Go and check him out. He is the sponsor of this live. Rooted in Essential Oils, plant-based living, plant-based products for healthy living, safe, clean, for your home environment, of course, for your family, pets, etc. Household cleaning products that are safe and good, like I mentioned before, for your home, the environment, and the planet. Also into Rooted in Essential Oils. His link is in the chat. Go and check him out. But yes, please be mindful that as we are aging, and most of us probably drive, I'm sure most of us drive, that we need to be mindful about if we are missing a beat here and there. And I get it sometimes when you are, because we're out here working 3, 4, and 25 jobs just to make the rent, mortgage, groceries, etc. That is a lot of stress within itself. And I'm not talking about the occasional, you just miss a beat, 1 month, and then 6 months from then you miss another beat. I'm not talking about that thing because you are stressed out and you know what it is with your body and your own stress level, etc., and why something is happening, why you may be a little off focus a day or two or something. Not something like that, but the ongoing instances of this that may be happening with us and with our parents that are aging also into. And we just have to, as much as we can, when we can, keep track of them, keep tabs on, focus on, like, how's your driving? Like I said, I don't know how you bring it up. And we have someone go over there and check on them. I don't know. But like I mentioned, a lot of times when we first find out about these things is via a silver alert, in the particular state that your parents or someone may live, all of that good stuff. I am going to end this live, folks. This live was sponsored by Rooted in Essential Oils. His link is in the chat, folks. Go and check him out. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.